What if you could design a portfolio that no matter what happens, you make money? If the market dips, you make money. If the market goes up, you make money. And if it goes sideways, you definitely make money. So I'm going to show you. Don't look at the screen because this is just irrelevant. This is currently my wallet that's connected. But we're going to design a portfolio for you that is set up for pretty much any scenario possible. So, for me personally, I'm always prepared for a major dip, a major crash. I never want to be, yield farming at the top end and then suddenly the market falls and I get swapped out into assets that just keep dropping. That's not the case. Let's take, for example, you've got $10,000, for example, and you want to yield farm. So 50% of that is going to be in Solana USDC. This is just an example. You can follow this along. 25% will be in major assets. And we're going to talk about major assets. Think anything in the top 20, basically, top 10, Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, BNB, whatever you want. And it doesn't have to be an Orca, you can use any platform you want. Probably about 20% will be in altcoins or large caps, yeah, mid large caps. And we'll explain what those are. As long as they have volume, we can farm them. And then the remaining 5% will be in high risk gamble gamble style meme coins. Now, this does not mean you're going to be in a position where you're like, okay, I've seen this on Pump Fund and I'm going to yield farm it. Because that's the way you're going to lose money at 20k market cap buying a coin like that. When I say high risk meme coins, it still needs to be a meme coin that's been around for a while, at least 3 months. And it must be something like Fartcoin, Useless, Bonk, Popcat, exchange listed ones that you can still keep going for a while. That's a breakdown of your portfolio. So you're only putting like $500 in here. If you don't have $10,000, you can obviously make that $100. You can make it $1,000. I would suggest if you're starting off, let's design a portfolio for you using $1,000. So with Solana USDC, what you want to do is not just go in here and then say, okay, I'm going to go in with 5% because this is how it looks like, and we're going to whack in $500 in here. This is not what you want to do. And then you're going to just deposit that. That's not what you want to do. You want three positions. So we're going to open three separate positions. For argument's sake, let's say we're putting in $100 into each position. So we're going to put $50 in a 10% range, for example, yeah? And what you're going to have is you're going to deposit this, and that's one range. So that's for the sideways market. Now we're going to deposit one for the up range. So we're going to do a 5%, but we're going to do a 25% up, like that. And we're going to have to put in more Solana into the bottom. You can arrange that how you want. Yeah. And this is going to be a very large range. We're going to do 20%. Let's say 20%. Yeah. And that's for if the market upticks. If you feeling bearish, you might not even want to do this position. You might want to put it all the way down. Yeah. But don't forget, this is not a major position. And we are in range for this. So we'll start earning yield for that. And then on the flip side, we're also going to do one down. So we're going to do like a 5%. Oh my God. We'll do it here. So we're going to do a 5% here. And then we're going to drop down. This seems to be working really well for me, especially in this market. Even to the point where I'm doing all the way down. So I'm just doing, Solana, not Solana, just USDC, and I'm doing a larger range down. Yeah. And that seems to be working for me. So I think Solana will hold $100 for the next 3 months, for example. So I'll drop in some, $200 here, and then I'll just let it bounce around while I have my sideways 5% range. That's your first protocol, and that's what you're going to be doing first of all. So that's done. Yeah. And that is pretty much your assets. Now we're going to look at major assets. With major assets, you're going to pair them together. Now, you're not going to be using USDC. You're going to pair them together. Now, at the top of the market, this does not work well because if you get Bitcoin and Solana together and you yield farm them, so for example, wrapped Ethereum and Solana is yielding okay. Now, always in the back of your mind, what I want you to stay with is you must earn zero point 0.1 to 0.05% per day. If you do not earn that, then it's pretty much worthless. I've tried to get 1% a day. It doesn't work out. It's not sustainable. Try and stay within this range when you're yield farming. If there's a major crash, you'd obviously have to adapt your portfolio or withdraw everything, wait, and do things like that. But let's take, for example, wrapped Ethereum and Solana. It pretty much moves well together. You can look at the chart historically and you can kind of say, okay, 10% is going to stay in range for a long, long time. You could do that. But it's just about getting 0.1%. So putting in like $50 isn't going to kill your portfolio, but isn't going to make you any money. 8% a day isn't worth it. But there are better pools. So probably the Bitcoin Solana one is a bit better. You can go in with a 10% range and you can probably be safe from here on in. Now, the danger of these assets is Solana falls, Bitcoin falls. You can still be in range in these, you could be in range for the next 6 months. But if the assets are falling together, so will you and your portfolio. So be in mind that it's probably not the best bet right now because I think the market might eventually fall in the next 6 months, 8 months. So you could go in with a, let's say, for example, a Bitcoin position. You could come in and say, okay, I want to just put dollars. So we're going to allocate in total 50%. So not 50%. We think Bitcoin is going to fall 50%. Yeah, in the next 6 months. Now, what we're doing is we're just putting in dollars here. So we're going to put in $100, for example, and you're going to let it fall into range. Now, bear in mind, this is Bitcoin going to 52,000, and we're going to hold it there for that position. Of course, we're getting a very, very small yield, but you can raise that up until you're getting your 0.1%, like so. Let's say 80k Bitcoin, maybe. But then again, the volume isn't great at the moment. So bear in mind, you might want to go in with a drop of 20%. Bitcoin dropping 20% gets you a zero point 0.1. Now, don't forget, this is not going to make you a multimillionaire with $1,000, but this is just the start of you getting your portfolio. If you were to make these, you would add them up, and I'm going to show you how you're actually going to make most of your money. Most of your money is going to come from the 5%. The rest is just there to pay some gas, add up over a few weeks, and then just compound until you gain more assets. But the trick is if you can build a portfolio like this with $1,000 and make 10-20% per month, then you'll feel more confident adding in $5,000, $20,000, 100k, whatever it is. So the altcoin meme coins are the ones that are further down the list, let's say. So Asta is obviously on BNB, but Pump is one I like, potentially even Gold, Pengu, Bonk. So the major ones that are listed on exchanges in terms of altcoins, you can even look at Filecoin. You might have to start venturing out off of Solana. But let's take, for example, something like Borg. Borg is a good one. So Borg is a major asset in terms of, if you don't know what Borg is, Swiss Borg. It's been around probably 5, 6 years, I think. Let's have a look. So it's been around since 2018. So it's been around a while. It's had its pump, it's had its dump, it's had its floor, it's had its run up again. So something like Borg would be potentially good to farm. Maybe not with Solana. USDC would be good. So we can even go on. Let's see how a very wide range of 50% will get us. So we're getting our zero point 0.2, but we're getting a major range with this. You can even say, I think it's going to fall. So I'm going to even give a bit more. I'm going to do a 75%, 25%. and we still get our 0.2, and I think it's going to drop. Now this will still give us yield, a really good position to be yielding, and I don't think it's even going to go out of range ever. So long term, Borg, Swiss Borg could be a good one to farm personally. There's a bunch of others. If you want, you can just filter out. I think $10,000 TVL is a must because it will give you a good indication of volume. And then select yield and see what's yielding well. And you can look at Chillhouse would be a meme, Launchcoin potentially, Met would be a good one, Pump and Useless could be a good one together. So pairing even meme coins and large caps together would be good. Virtuals is a good one. So anything exchange listed would be good. Now going back to our high risk gambles, this is where you're actually going to make most of your money, believe it or not. Chillhouse, for example, we could come in on a very small range, go in with 20%, so we can maybe leave it for a few days, and we're getting 17% a day. Now, off of a very small amount, you're pretty much going to double your money in a week. And that's kind of what you want. So even if you put in $70, $50, whatever it is, you're going to make, you know, $50 to $100 a day. I mean, a week potentially added with all your portfolio together. So your average out for your whole portfolio will end up being like over 1% per day. And even putting in $1,000, you can potentially, if nothing major drops, as long as you're smart with the ranges, you should be good. You should be in a position where you're like, okay, I'm getting at least 1%, half a percent a day, and Chill House is making me most of the money. As long as I keep that alive and my other portfolio sustains, then you're going to be good to go. And that's what you want. You want to end up. You don't want to end up with a portfolio like this. So you can see Fartcoin, I think it's going to drop 20%. So I put in just $100. I left it. If Fartcoin drops down and then bounces up, happy days. I'll just be in pure profit. So I just had $100 in my wallet. I was going to buy Fartcoin a few days back and I didn't. So this is me buying again. But you can see here, example wise, this is my sideways sort of portfolio. We've got 10%, I think 10% each way. And then we've got our large position, which is a 1% all the way down. And we've got our 25% sideways. So I'm covering all the markets. I'm covering a pump and I'm majorly covering a dump. The only thing that I'll be adding to is this wallet here, where I think it's going to dump. So any yield that comes in here, I will harvest it. I will take record of my USDC, so 40 cents, and I usually compound half and keep half because if you don't take profits during yield farming, you'll never take profits. Personally, I would just keep yield farming forever and ever and ever, and I won't have any profit. I'm just providing money to the liquidity market. So I just let the portfolio build up. I let this go to like $100, $50, and I'll either buy something else or I'll pay myself. That's just how I yield farm. You'll have your own strategy. But remember, going back to this list, keep to this and you'll probably make good money. Now, even if you want to gamble on meme coins or you want to do some stupid strategies, just have this as a base. Play with it. You might buy Fartcoin and realize that's crap. I'm going to sell it. Or this is falling. This is never going to bounce back. I'm going to just sell it. You can do that. Quack is actually a good one to yield farm if you want to do that because we have consistent volume on Quack and it's a low cap so you can accumulate a lot. So even throwing in $10 into this coin will be really good for you. So it's totally up to you. We have volume on it, consistent volume um, for the whole period, same as our liquidity, and it's a solid coin. And that's a really, really high risk, not really high risk, but it's really a high reward, some risk meme coin. You'll probably make more from that or any high risk meme coin than you will from Solana USDC. But that's not the reason we yield farm it. We yield farm it for long term gains, and you can compound. Anyway, I don't want to ramble on. I've rambled so much in this video, but I hope even if 5 people watch this video and say that was great, it'll be